Manchester United fans, brace yourselves. Huge decisions are being made at Old Trafford. Will Kobbie Mainoo stay or follow the path of Paul Pogba? Exploding head Arsenal are pushing ahead in the race for Viktor Gyokeres, while Onana's future remains uncertain. Plus, is Ruben Amorim still on INEOS' radar? Let's dive into all the latest updates. Stay tuned, hit that like button, and subscribe for more breaking Man United news. Manchester United cannot allow their best talent since Paul Pogba to leave Old Trafford. Alejandro Garnacho and Kobbie Mainoo scored in last season's FA Cup final. So imagine if you told a Manchester United fan they could both leave in the summer of 2025 after that game. They wouldn't have believed you, or they might have looked at you as if you were from Mars. But football has entered the profit and sustainability (PSR) era, meaning anything can happen. It was the one-year anniversary of Garnacho, Mainoo and Rasmus Højlund perching themselves on the Stretford End electronic board in the first week of February, and each of those young players were considered indispensable by United when that photo went viral on social media. The landscape has changed in just 11 months. United no longer deem any player unsellable due to PSR constraints, and the reality is an unpopular sale could happen in the summer window. It feels like that unpopular sale could be either Garnacho or Mainoo, because academy graduates represent pure profit in the ludicrous PSR world, which essentially incentivizes offloading homegrown talent. The rules must be amended to prevent clubs from selling academy graduates because they go against the essence of football, but there is nothing imminent planned from the Premier League. United have grown increasingly wary of operating within PSR, although they haven't been forced into a sale so far. Having said that, it feels like that moment could be on the horizon, as the club's financial results for the final few months of 2024 were recently published and made for bleak reading. INEOS are penny-pinching in every single department to cut costs, and that might not bode well for Mainoo, whose camp have been in talks over a new contract since March 2024. Mainoo was linked to Chelsea in the January transfer window due to talks over his new deal stalling, and fresh reports have emerged this week about him potentially leaving United. It's understood Mainoo would prefer to stay at his boyhood club, although that would require an improved contract offer, and an agreement hasn't been reached over the last 12 months. United sources have previously said they do not want to drive Mainoo out of the club, and it's important to note the player himself will currently be focused on returning from an injury. Mainoo is remarkably mature for his age and will concentrate on his football. His agent is responsible for contract talks, and representatives act on the best interest of their client. Arsenal give an edge over Man United in race for Viktor Gyokeres. Sporting CP striker Viktor Gyokeres has been described as increasingly likely to move on next summer, with Arsenal, rather than Manchester United, emerging as one of the favourites to sign the sought-after forward, according to multiple reports in Portugal. Gyokeres has been the darling of the transfer gossip columns for months. A staggering haul of 80 goals in 89 games for Sporting across the past 2 seasons has earned the 26-year-old a deserved reputation as one of the best strikers in world football. Arsenal are in obvious need of a prolific forward, a long-standing truism which predates the club's current injury crisis. But they are not alone in their pursuit of Gyokeres. Manchester United have been relentlessly linked with the mobile centre forward, with speculation only increasing after his former Sporting coach Ruben Amorim took charge of the Red Devils this season. While rival clubs have made little secret of their admiration for the number 9, Gyokeres has been more reserved. However, record now claim that the player has signaled his desire to leave Sporting in the summer, with the chances of his exit rated as huge. Fellow Portuguese outlet Ebola doesn't contest that stance, adding instead that Gyokeres is insistent on joining a team which will be competing in next season's Champions League campaign. United started the weekend slumped in 14th place, 13 points adrift of the Premier League top 5, which is expected to guarantee qualification for Europe's premier club competition. Arsenal, by contrast, are second and remain involved in the knockout stages of this year's Continental Jamboree. Amorim's floundering Red Devils could still theoretically qualify for next season's competition by winning the Europa League, although they are ranked as just 5th favourites to lift the trophy, trailing Lazio, Roma, Lyon and fellow Premier League side Tottenham Hotspur. Arsenal may have the edge over United in the race for Gyokeres, but the Red Devils could help bolster their appeal by beating the Gunners when they face off in the Premier League on Sunday afternoon. Kobbie Mainoo contract claim made as Man United Andre Onana transfer plan revealed. Manchester United will look to bounce back from a difficult few weeks when they host Arsenal in the Premier League on Sunday afternoon. Ruben Amorim's side were held to a 1-1 draw in the Europa League at Real Sociedad on Thursday evening, days after Fulham knocked them out of the FA Cup on penalties. But you already knew that, didn't you? Here, the Manchester Evening News looks at some of the United stories you might have missed. Kobbie Mainoo open to overseas move. According to reports from The Guardian, Kobbie Mainoo is open to rejecting a new contract offer at Manchester United in order to seek a move abroad. After breaking into United's first team the season before last, 19-year-old England international Mainoo has gone on to play 60 times for the Reds. But he has just 2 years remaining on his current deal, with The Guardian stating that the midfielder has been in protracted contract talks with United officials. However, it is claimed that Mainoo could look to leave Old Trafford and seek a move abroad instead. The Manchester Evening News says, Mainoo has endured a stop-start season at Old Trafford with injuries and a struggle for form, making it difficult for him to replicate the highs he endured during a glittering breakout campaign at Old Trafford. However, it would be a huge mistake to allow Mainoo, Stockport-born and bred, to leave the club this summer. The England international has shown he has the talent to light up Old Trafford and, therefore, United really should be doing all they can to convince him to be the face of a new era at the club. United eye Andre Onana alternative signing. Manchester United are reportedly keen on signing Burnley's ex-Manchester City goalkeeper James Trafford. Team talk indicates the 22-year-old, who recently kept 11 consecutive clean sheets for the Clarets, is a potential option for the Reds as they aim to sign a new backup this summer. Espanyol goalkeeper Joan Garcia has also been linked with a move to Old Trafford. The Manchester Evening News says, there are many positions that United will need to address in the transfer window this summer. Therefore, a new competitive deputy for Onana probably doesn't rank very highly on most people's agenda. However, it's a position United need to address as the Cameroonian has shown that he is capable of 1 or 2 mistakes when in a United shirt. Man United Chiefs set to ditch Sir Jim Ratcliffe's project as Ruben Amorim reality sets in. Manchester United Chiefs may have to ditch their Project 150 dream after realizing that it's going to take Ruben Amorim years to build a team capable of challenging for the Premier League. Chief Executive Omar Barada announced on his arrival at the club last summer that co-owner Sir Jim Ratcliffe had set his sights on taking the title back to Old Trafford by 2028 to celebrate United's 150th anniversary. But the stark reality of the monumental task facing manager Ruben Amorim has since kicked in. There's now an acceptance inside the United boardroom that the 40-year-old Portuguese is being forced to work, as one insider described it, with his hands tied behind his back. Due to the poor state of the squad he inherited from Erik ten Hag and the perilous financial position of the club, United expected results to be better than those Amorim has delivered, just 10 wins in 25 games. But with Ratcliffe's INEOS group currently implementing an overhaul of how the Reds go about their business from the academy level to the first-team squad, after striking an ownership pact with the Glazer family just over a year ago, there's an awareness that the former Sporting Lisbon coach must be given time if he can't be bankrolled in the transfer market. Amorim felt he could get more from the current squad when he came in, and there have been some encouraging results, added the source. But there's no getting away from the fact that overall it's been a really tough watch, and that it's going to take a lot of time and patience to get the team to where they should be. You've got to be brave or foolish to think winning the league by 2028 is doable from where United currently are. It will soon be 12 years since Sir Alex Ferguson retired after winning the last of his 13 Premier League titles. Barada's reputation is wedded to Amorim succeeding. The chief executive's bold statement of intent was met with incredulity by some staff members when the Frenchman proposed his timeline to the top. Within weeks, the club had sacked ten Hag, just a couple of months after handing him a contract extension and a £200 million transfer kitty. It was Barada, the executive recruited from rivals Manchester City, who was the driving force behind the appointment of Amorim, despite warnings from sporting director Dan Ashworth that the squad would have to be revamped to fit the Portuguese's playing philosophy. Ashworth followed ten Hag out of the club less than 5 months after United paid £5 million in compensation to prize him away from Newcastle. INEOS are fully aware that if they make another knee-jerk managerial change, they risk losing the dwindling goodwill of disillusioned fans. It cost them £10.4 million to sack Ten Hag and another £11 million in compensation to appoint Amorim.